Welcome to Smart Franchising with FranSmart. I'm Dan Rowe, and I've masterminded the ascent of local favorites to global dominators. This isn't your usual get-to-know-you chat. We're diving deep. We're revealing the raw truths about franchise wealth building. With over 30 years in the trenches, I'm spilling it all. If you have an appetite for unfiltered tales and the hidden blueprints of franchise prosperity, buckle up. We're diving in. All right. Shawn Walchef, thank you and welcome to Smart Franchising with FranSmart. So thanks for being here.
Dan, thanks
So
for having me on the show.
yeah, so I can't remember. You're in San Diego. I remember coming to see you, but I can't remember originally if I can't remember how we met. I think you followed me or I followed you. I might have followed you because everyone else in the world tags you. But I originally thought that you had a barbecue concept, only a barbecue concept, and I want a barbecue concept in the portfolio. So I remember reaching out, and then all of a sudden I realized you're a tech expert. Then I realized that you have this video company where you do video content creation and helping people find their own voice and their own stories to build bigger and better audiences, which I think is kind of cool. So you're sort of this enigma that people think you're a barbecue concept, but how this happened for me is some of our brands and our franchisees are asking me, what's the latest and greatest POS? What AI should I be using? What this app? What that app? And it just changes too much. I'm not ashamed to admit I'm old, so I don't know. And but I reached out to a couple of POS companies, and I reached out to a couple of pretty successful tech companies. They kept pointing me back to you. They pointed me back to you and this article that you had written. It was like an infographic tech stack article about the latest and greatest in technology, where you're literally demystifying and decoding technology for the average hack. And the idea is, don't spend $10 to make a dollar, which I really appreciated. So, gosh, like you buy the wrong POS, you convince your franchisees to go down the wrong POS system or the wrong tech app, and then try to get them to change it, they will string you up. So I'm glad you're here. So anyway, sorry for the rant. Please do a better job than me introducing yourself and more about your business.
Sure, I'll give you the quick version. And I can't tell you how excited I am for your show. Congratulations on launching a show. This is something I believe deeply in, but you have so much knowledge to give back to our industry, and the fact that now you have content that will be on multiple platforms so that people can consume it how they want. I'm super excited. So the
Thanks.
quick version of who is Shawn, who's Cali BBQ, who's Cali BBQ Media is we opened up a restaurant in 2008. They tell you location, 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 and we picked a terrible location, a terrible time, and a very difficult business. But because of that business, it was a breakfast concept that we added a full liquor license and added a sports bar. Eventually, we brought on barbecue. It gave us a point of differentiation. And doing barbecue on the West Coast is hard to do. So I had to get an expert, Gene Goycochea. He taught us, the craft of low and slow barbecue, of doing things the right way, the right woods, the right rubs, the right meat. All of those things we had to learn. And we thought that if we made great barbecue and if we gave phenomenal hospitality, even though we were in a bad location, that everyone would come and they'd write about us. They'd write about us. They'd put us on the news. They would have us on local radio. Magazines would come. You know what happened, Dan?
What?
Nobody came.
Welcome to the restaurant business.
No one came. No one came. No one gave a shit about us. They didn't care.
You mean a vendor lied? A vendor lied? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm just trying to tell you that I was operating, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs and restaurant owners, we operate under the belief is if you build it, they will come. This field of dreams mentality. If you build it, they will come. And unfortunately and fortunately, no one came. And because no one came, we started learning about tech. We started asking questions. We started playing around and acting stupid, being stupid. I didn't know anything about Facebook. I didn't know anything about Yelp. I didn't know anything about Google. I didn't know anything about my website. And this was all back in 2008, 2009, 2010, when we couldn't pay payroll. And I was just trying to do anything and everything to stay in business. And if that meant starting a Facebook account, I was going to start a Facebook account. If it meant starting a Yelp page, I was starting a Yelp page. And, fast forward to where we are now, we're about to open up our fourth location. which will be at the San Diego Navy base. So as part of the Navy
Nice.
Exchange, there
Congrats.
are. Thank you. It's a really big opportunity. There's national brands, so Pizza Hut, Panda Express, Subway, Starbucks, Cold Stone, Rubio's. These are all brands that are in the Navy Exchange now, and they're going to be bringing on a local company. So for us, this is a huge opportunity to take care, obviously, of the men and women who take care of us. But from a food perspective, we believe in slow food fast. So this will be our fourth location. We have a ghost kitchen location. We have two stadium locations in Snapdragon, and then we have the master smokehouse and media center, which we've been operating since 2008. And to
It's where I
the
visited you in San Diego.
you did. You came on
Yeah.
your plane. I picked you up, and I got to show you what a bad location is, but what a beautiful business can be.
But a lot of people can relate to this. So you opened up a place, you said a lot of things. It opened up as a breakfast place, you later morphed into barbecue, but you were still struggling, couldn't make payroll, and you marketed your way out of that.
Yes, we
Tell
did.
us about that. I mean, a lot of people can relate to that. Your back's up against the wall. You feel, I mean, you must have felt alone and scared and all that other stuff. Like, how did you sort of put this together?
It comes down to survival. It comes down to the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. And if we were going to fail, we were going to fail trying everything. And that came with a lot of fear. On the West Coast in San Diego, I'm not sure, how much you know about barbecue culture, but in parts of America, barbecue is religion. If you go to Texas, it is a religion. Kansas City, Memphis, the Carolinas, like anybody that's trying to do barbecue anywhere else, it's almost sacrilege. Like, what do you think you're doing? You can't be doing it the right way because you're not from Texas. Well, for us, I was very scared to start to learn the craft, but I also knew that if I dedicated myself every single day and my team dedicated themselves to learning the craft of barbecue, we were going to make bad barbecue in the beginning. And we did. We made a lot of bad barbecue,
Hmm.
but eventually we got a little bit better. But I was also scared, back to the storytelling part of what happens if I get that opportunity to go on the local news and the news anchor asks me about how to properly cook tri-tip and I don't know how to answer. I'm going to look stupid and I'm going to look like a fraud. So I had this a lot of insecurity about telling our story in the beginning. Once I got over that, once I realized that no one was going to tell the Cali barbecue story the way that I was going to tell it, because we started an amateur barbecue contest to give back to local youth in our community. We wanted to do a fundraising event. We asked a bunch of other small businesses to come and participate, shut down the street. We had, eventually put this event on for 10 years, the Spring Valley Tailgate and Amateur Barbecue Festival. But in the beginning, the news wanted us to come to promote the event, which is what I wanted. I was
Hmm.
like, how do I get on the news? Well, finally, we were doing something good. We wanted to give back. And yet I had this fear, this public speaking in front of a camera, a fear of, I don't want to look like a fraud. I got over that fear by knowing that no one else was going to talk about the event. Why were we doing the event? Why did our restaurant care? Why were we bringing other barbecue restaurants in front of our restaurant? No one was going to be able to share that story like I was. So I had to be okay with, maybe I might say something wrong about how to
Yeah.
properly cook tri-tip or brisket, but I'm going to lean on my experts. Gene Goycochea, he's the pit master. If you want a technical question, he can answer it. But if you want to know why the crazy entrepreneur who opened in a bad location is trying to give back to the community, I'm the person that you need to talk to.
Yeah, that's great. So talk about what tools before we get into tech, and I guess it'll probably dovetail into tech, but talk about specifically what tools and what things you did other than the barbecue competition and the local media. Like, what do you do to finally get your sales up and over that profitability threshold?
It was, to be honest with you, it was Facebook, it was Yelp, because this was back in the day. And, in the beginning, 2008, 2009, I mean, we advertised in the yellow pages. It was that long ago that was actually still a thing to like put your business in the yellow pages. We advertised, we did everything. We tried local radio, we tried newspapers, we tried flyers. Eventually, we tried Groupon. Ultimately, what we found and why we believe so much in storytelling is that when people think about social media, if I say Facebook, if I say Twitter, if I say YouTube, every listener who hears this, you think something subjectively. We have subjective feelings towards these platforms. We got to the point where we were almost failing as a business that we had to remove how we felt about Yelp and just say objectively, there's people on Yelp that are looking for restaurants. So if there's people on Yelp, maybe I should communicate to those people.
Mm.
And how do I communicate? Well, I claim my Yelp business page. I add photos of my menu. I
What does
update
that
my
mean?
hours.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What does that mean? You're talking to novices. What does claim my page mean?
So literally every platform on the internet, whether it's Yelp, whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook, they want you as a business owner to claim your page, to claim your stake so that eventually they can sell an ad product down the line to you.
Is that the
But
check mark?
that's not the check mark. That's
No.
literally just to verify that you're a business.
Okay.
So Yelp wants you to verify that you are a business owner, that you own that location. So for free, you can go in and claim the business. Otherwise, they'll just generate information that probably is just aggregate from a bunch of different Yelp searches or a
Wow.
bunch of different Google searches. That's
Wow.
why it's so important to make sure that your Yelp profile, your Google profile, your Facebook profile, all of these different places have the correct information. Because if I didn't update our business hours, we used to be a breakfast restaurant. We are no longer open for breakfast. So if Dan comes into town and he has some investors that are looking for a great breakfast spot and you see, oh, Cali BBQ, they have breakfast because you went on Yelp and it says that we're open, but then you come down there, that's a bad first impression.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Now, so those are the details I want to get out of you. So you're saying you could be on these platforms, being active, doing things, and still not getting credit for it because you're not set up properly.
Well,
Wow.
that's back to the blessing of the bad location. Because we were in a bad location, I had to actually get my hands dirty and go and figure it out. Like literally go to Yelp, figure out, frequently asked questions. How do you claim your page? Claim the page, publish the page, then go as a consumer and see what does it look like? I don't like what it looks like. Now I'm in there updating the photo that I like. Now I'm using the tech as Yelp changes their platform, from 2008 to what they have now. Now there's a business owners app. Like literally you can download the Yelp business owners app and do it from mobile, which is
Wow.
way easier for someone like me that's able to go and update Yelp. And Yelp actually wants to be a social platform as well. So you can publish content about an upcoming event on Yelp. But the only reason I know how to do that is it was out of sheer necessity.
You had
Like
to.
I had
Yeah.
to figure out that this was an opportunity for us to actually drive business.
So anyone could and should be doing this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like without a doubt, like if there's anything right now, stop listening and go to Yelp, make sure your information is correct. Go to Google Maps, make sure your information is correct. Go to your Facebook page, make sure your information is correct. Make sure you have good photos. I mean, some of the easiest things that we take for granted is to assume that, well, I've got a great menu inside of my restaurant. Well, what does it look like to a digital consumer, somebody that's
On
looking
your
for
phone
your
or something like
restaurant
that.
on your phone? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's good. What else? What else? What else did you do to move the needle?
So, part of when we get to this, you mentioned the how to make a restaurant tech stack article that we published.
Yeah.
I published that actually because I was giving a speech at the National Restaurant Association show in Chicago. So because we produce so much content about restaurant technology, I interview so many of the founders. I have this incessant need. I don't want to talk to the salesperson. I want to talk to the founder. Who started the company and why did they build the tech? And what's the culture that they're building? Do they truly care about the restaurant owner? Because for me, that's what my show, my podcast, Digital Hospitality, allowed me to do is connect with people like Jordan Bosch, who connected you and me, actually. Jordan Bush, who's the CEO of Seven Shifts, one of the greatest scheduling platforms. He's building an incredible company in Canada that has all of these United States restaurateurs. But I want to know, well, why is Jordan building what he's building? He's building this incredible scheduling platform to help us save time, to make people get out of an Excel spreadsheet or even a paper spreadsheet where they're literally just scheduling. How do you allow a restaurant owner to switch shifts? Seems easy, right? Well, that's what software helps us do.
Mm.
Software helps us do those things. And in preparation of the National Restaurant Association show, I made I literally went to my general manager and business partner, Eric, and said, we need to write down what do we currently use that has to do with the internet that helps us with four things: content, commerce, communication, and community. Those are the four C's. So commerce helps us sell things online. Toast is our primary point of sale partner. Communication, those are things that, how do you communicate with your guests? Well, we use a tool called Ovation. Ovation is a guest feedback survey. Ovation integrates with Toast. Ovation is an incredible platform. Community is all the things that we do on social media. So whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's podcasts, whether it's our website, all of those things help us build community. And then, finally, it's content, storytelling. How do we do audio, video, words, and images? Those are the four things that we care about. We don't care what the platform is. We remove the logo. It doesn't matter what our subjective feelings are. It's the internet. These are internet playgrounds.
Yeah.
If we have audio, video, words, and images, how do we get as much stuff as possible? And then we get all kinds of opportunities.
Wow. When is the internet fad going away?
I have breaking news. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Okay. Well, with that, I remember when I saw your article, I don't know why I call it an infographic. It reminded me of Candyland. You know, the game you played with your kids?
That's good. Yeah.
And so, because it said, then you do this, and you get this, and you get, which is how I learn. So, but what is like, I've been at this 30 years and I've seen so many POS companies come and go. And, it's like none of them seem to work like advertised. You just wind up hating some of them less. I came out of technology before I got in this business, and we used to call software shelfware, right? It didn't work like advertised. So someone would buy it. They quickly realized that it didn't work. It didn't solve their problem the way it was advertised. And so it sat on a shelf. And I still see the same thing in this industry. So how do you go through for a new emerging restaurant today to not waste time, not waste money? Like, what is January 2024's tech stack, like, in your opinion?
To be honest with you, I think the greatest thing about 2024 and where we are is that information is available, and the humans at the heart of technology companies, if they're silent and if they're not building in public and at these trade shows, having on podcasts, creating content of who they are, what they're building, you should probably be skeptical.
Yeah.
I'll go back to, during the pandemic, everyone says that they pivoted. We pivoted and we started doing online ordering. Like, we didn't pivot. For us, Cali BBQ, we didn't pivot. We already believed in the internet. Otherwise, we would have been out of business.
Yeah.
Like, we were already trying to use the internet as many ways possible for content, commerce, communication, and community. That's all we care about. Once we figured that out, we said, who's going to be our primary technology partner? Who is the best in the space? And that was Toast. I had a restaurant consultant, Howard Solomon, who came in, who helped me also convince Eric, my general manager and business partner. He's the one that was on Aloha for 12 years. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the entrepreneur, I'm the CEO, I make the decisions, but he's the one actually the operator implementing the tech. So he spent so much time building out our menus, building out our financial reporting, building out our inventory, all of the things that we need to do to run a profitable restaurant. He didn't want to switch over to Toast unless he was convinced that it was the right way to go. So we needed Toast, the sales rep, Will Eppard, who's my sales rep, to come in and explain, don't just give me a sales pitch, show me. I had to talk to other restaurant owners that were on Toast. Why are you on Toast? Why did you switch? What have you learned? What were the hangups? All of those things help us make a decision to go, okay, now we're going to make this decision. And I told Toast, we're a barbecue media company. So in addition to the barbecue business, we also have a content company. We're going to make a podcast. We're going to do videos. And I told them, we're going to document this whole experience. So if it's a bad experience, like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to edit it. It's just good. It is what it is. The internet will decide. And we made a Toast unboxing video, which you can find on YouTube if you just Google Toast unboxing. Ours is the most popular Toast unboxing video, but that put us on the map with Toast leadership. Chris Comparato, who was the CEO at the time, shared that video internally. It was shared all over LinkedIn. It was the first time 12 years I was in business with Aloha. It was the first time that I had 3 executives from Aloha searching on my LinkedIn profile of who's looking at your LinkedIn
Mm,
profile.
mm,
But it took me doing something for them, back to the old way of doing things, of taking business owners for granted. Companies of the future, new digital hospitality companies, they need to care about restaurant owners today. And the best ones do care. The best ones are boots on the ground. You go to so many trade shows. How many trade shows do you go to where you see a legacy company versus a new company? What's the energy in the booth? What's the difference?
yeah. Yeah.
It's night and day.
Yeah. I remember in the day, POS companies and credit card companies used to be separate. Now
Yeah.
they're sort of the same. And to the chagrin of many, the credit card processing fees come with the new POS. Do you see credit card processing fees coming down anytime soon?
Unfortunately, probably not. I don't see them coming down, but I also see the world that we live in. When you think of an online world and online transactions, even when we're in real life within our restaurant, there's still an online component. I look at technology no matter where I go outside of the restaurant space. When I go and I fly, I just came back from Boston. I was at Toast Sales kickoff event. I was able to interview Aman Narang, the co-founder and new CEO. And when I'm flying, I think back to technology of before. I used to talk to someone to check in my bag. I don't talk to anyone anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I literally go and give them very personal information to a kiosk. I stick my ID in or my credit card in. It knows that it's me. It knows that I'm flying. It prints out my tag. And guess what? My bag showed up, you know? And when I think of Target or Walmart or CVS, all of these places where in the beginning, I even myself had a resistance to technology and to the digital side and said, I want someone to check me out. Well, why do I need someone to check me out? Now, when I go and there's 5 people in line, I just go to the self kiosk.
Hmm.
I don't want someone to check me out. I can do it myself. And when you think about it in a restaurant context, like I don't see that going away. What I see is now a huge responsibility for the Toasts of the world to how do they continue to be a partner with their restaurants and not just something where because we have you on credit cards, we're going to charge you more for other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. If there was an offset, that would help the pill go down. But they need to point it out. Otherwise, like that's become an obnoxious line item. Uh, just those costs in general have. But
Sure.
okay, enough on credit cards. What are some other pieces of tech that are super important? People probably don't realize are out there and will make your business run better, make your life better. Because the point of I'm on franchising. Like nobody buys a franchise; they don't want to run the franchise. They buy the
Yeah.
franchise. They don't want to stack of contracts. They don't want to buy the franchise. They don't want the day-to-day headaches. They want what they think they're going to get out of the franchise, which is wealth and prosperity and options and to live the life, right? And so, technology is part of that. So, what are some other pieces of technology or hacks that people should be doing today?
Sure. Well, there's one company that's an automatic that I always talk about that no one talks about. It's because it's not sexy, and it's a sales tax automation. Like nobody wants to deal with sales tax. No one likes sales tax. Davo is a company that automates your sales tax. It doesn't matter what your point of sale is. Chances are they probably integrate with that point of sale. And every single day they take out the sales tax and they put it into an escrow account and they automatically file for you. It's
Every day?
literally like $55. Yeah, it's $55 a month. It's the I, as a restaurateur that didn't know in the beginning how to properly handle my books and handle my finances, like I thought that was my money. And then quarterly
No.
taxes come and it's like, hey, Shawn, you owe this amount of money. And I look at my business partner like, where's that money supposed to come from? Well, it
Yeah.
wasn't my money to begin with. You
No,
know,
try
there-
not paying taxes, see how that goes. That's interesting. I've never heard of that. So literally you made the sale, they organize, kind of bifurcate out the taxes. They pay the taxes, you pay $55 a month and you don't
it's
have to think
amazing.
about it. 600 bucks
It's
a year.
amazing. Dan, you've been in this business for 30 years. how many businesses go out of business, how many restaurants go out of business because of something like sales tax.
Well, and you
I don't know
can't,
what the statistic
if
is.
you could close your business, you can't get out from under sales tax. They're going to come find you wherever you were. So, okay, cool. That's a good one. What about the next link in the chain? What else is another piece of good tech?
Another good one that we're working with is called Clear Cogs. So Clear Cogs is Matt Wampler. It's his company, but it's inventory. So they use AI and machine learning. So for someone like us on the barbecue side, his goal is to save you 1 to 2% of your COGS, your cost of goods sold.
How does he, what's the gist? How do they do that?
So the gist is through data analytics of connecting to our point of sale, connecting to our inventory. They give us a predictive analysis of how many ribs we should be prepping. So he's actually a restaurateur. He was on the Jimmy John side, and the Jimmy John side of his business, he knew just from a bread standpoint of how much fresh bread they needed to make on a daily basis. And he's like, well, what if there was a tech tool that allowed me to have a much better predictive analysis of this is how much bread you need on a Tuesday
For
versus this
waste?
is how much bread you need
Yeah.
on, yeah.
Okay.
And factoring in a lot of other external factors as well, whether it's the weather, whether it's events, stuff like
Okay.
that.
I like that. What else? What else is good?
Marquee, Marqii. Marquee is a company that, back to the beginning, when we were talking about Yelp and we were talking about Facebook and we were talking about Google, there's about 80 different places there's actually more than 80, but 80 primarily, where a restaurant business can show up online. So Apple Maps, a Tesla map, all of these platforms have your information. So when someone's driving in a Tesla by your restaurant, they're going to see information about your business. Is your business open? Are you closed? Do you do takeout? Do you have parking? Do you have a charging station? That information needs to get updated.
So a
Marquee is a one.
company like Marquee, I was in Santa Monica last week in an Uber, and certain restaurants showed up on the moving map and some
Yep.
didn't. So it's all company like this figuring out how to
Correct.
get you.
So
Wow.
you go to one place, you go to the Marquee dashboard, and I would go in Cali BBQ, and Steven, my catering manager and marketing manager, he's the one that does this for us. But he'll go in and update that information. It'll get pushed out to Google Maps, to Waze, to Apple Maps, to Tesla Map, to Yelp, to Facebook, to like Easy Cater. They just announced an Easy Cater integration. All of these different places that no one has time to go into. I don't even, as someone as crazy as me, I don't even have the time
Yeah.
to go in and make sure the way that I used to have time to do that.
So one place. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, yeah, that's a good. Okay, you'd call that a marketing hack, right?
Yes, big
Okay.
time.
Any. First of all, what the heck is seven shifts?
7 shifts. So 7 shifts, back in the day, way back in the day, we used to just do paper scheduling. And then we did Excel spreadsheet scheduling. And then we were on hot schedules. And then we found 7 shifts. And 7 shifts is just an incredible forward facing front of the house technology that allows staff to switch shifts. It allows staff to know when their shifts are. It allowed back to the communication piece. We're so good as restaurateurs at communicating with our guests. Some of the biggest struggles when we talk about high turnover rates, those high turnover rates happen because a manager doesn't tell the staff when are they expected to work. Like staff member, when they get hired from us, they go into 7 shifts, they claim their employee page, and then they decide, when can I work? When can't I work?
Hmm.
Don't schedule them. You literally can't schedule them when they tell you can't work. Now you're not going to have any issues. But so many restaurateurs before, if you don't respect what someone told you, and you go, hey, I need you to work on Friday afternoon, go, well, Friday afternoon, I take care of my kids, you're going to have a problem.
Employees like seven shifts, or
Love
the
it.
employer likes it?
Both. That's the magical part about what 7 shifts is building. It's both management and the employees love it.
Okay. What else? Give me some more hacks.
Restaurant 365 for multi-unit. If you're a multi-unit operator, one of the most beneficial articles that I ever read was on restaurantowner.com when I was first running the restaurant. And I remember reading that the best franchises the best multi-unit restaurants, ran profitable. Just because you have a busy restaurant doesn't mean you have a profitable one.
Amen.
That line will never get out of my head. And I was like, well, how do they do it? They have weekly profit and loss statements. They know what their prime cost numbers are. For me, in the beginning, I had no idea what they were talking about. Like, well, how the hell do you get a weekly profit and loss statement? Well, you got to do weekly inventory. Who the hell is going to do weekly inventory? All of a sudden, we had to go through all this painstaking work to figure out, well, if you want to run an actual business, these are the things that the most successful chains, the most successful franchises do. And they do it for a reason, because it allows them to become profitable. So we made a commitment way back in the day, and we started using a technology called RASI, Restaurant Accounting Services. Well, we've graduated from RASI, and now we use Restaurant 365 because it's just a much better tech. They have much better software. They have a great leadership team. They do payroll for us. They do the financial reporting side, and we also, because of the commissary kitchen, we also have the ghost kitchens, the stadium. They help us with all of that management.
So they can plug all that in. And then speaking of the word plug, is this stuff fairly plug and play, or is it difficult? Like, I'm not technical. I wouldn't start because I would feel overwhelmed that it was going to be really difficult to implement. Like all these things that you're mentioning, like how easy are those to implement?
The most difficult one is Restaurant 365, and that's just from a financial standpoint. It's multi-unit, but they have a great team. So, like, that's definitely as far from plug and play as you go, but it should be, because it's financial, right?
Yeah.
It's the most important part of your business. The easiest things to implement are like Davo. Davo, they don't even have a sales team, because you just go into Toast and it's an integration partner, and you integrate and you give them a couple lines of information, and then all of a sudden you're signed up on a SaaS product, and they're filing for you. It's the easiest thing that you can do.
Wow. Give me one more hack for driving sales and one more hack for optimizing the operation.
The easiest hack for driving sales on a social media standpoint is to use video. The internet wants video. Instagram started moving from a photo sharing platform to now they want Reels, is what they call it, which is video. TikTok is a video first platform. YouTube is a video first platform. Facebook is prioritizing Reels. The easiest thing that you can do as a restaurateur is take this thing out of your pocket, the smartphone. Doesn't need to be an iPhone, can be an Android, but it all has high quality video, and start sharing what's going on inside your restaurant.
So walk through that. So you take your phone out, like how can the average person do this?
So the average person, the easiest way to start is to go to your camera and go into your kitchen, and whatever's on your whatever you prep. If you prep burgers, if you prep barbecue. So I'll give you an example. This Saturday, I went to our barbecue restaurant. Bernice is our pit master, and I get there around 8:30 in the morning. 8:30 in the morning, she's bringing 45 racks of St. Louis ribs off of the smoker. I take out my phone and press record while she's literally just taking ribs off of the smoker and putting them and stacking them, because this is the middle of the smoking process, 2 hours into the smoke. She puts them onto a cart outside where the Old Hickory pit is. She drives them in, and I'm still just taking my smartphone, videoing her going into the restaurant.
It's free.
Free. It's literally, it's the internet open kitchen. For anybody that knows, open kitchen was the idea was remove the wall so you can see the chef cooking. Yeah. Well, now with a smartphone, you can bring people into your kitchen without actually bringing them into the kitchen. The video that I put for Bernice on our TikTok page has 2.4 million views. 2.4 million. You know what kind of media spend I would have to buy? I wouldn't even be able to get that locally here in San Diego.
So how do you spin that out? So you take it on your phone. How do you make a reel? And then how do you get it out there? Like drop a pebble in the water, makes a lot of rings. Like how do you make all those rings?
So the easiest way is to start with what you have, start now, and publish it. It will not be good. No one will like it. People will make fun of you. But if you do it again tomorrow and you do it again the next day, after 100 videos in 100 days, you'll start to learn the nuances of making an Instagram reel, of sharing a reel on Instagram and a reel on Facebook, of posting that same video that you posted on Instagram, you put it on TikTok, and you start to see the nuances of the platform. But more importantly, one of the most powerful things you can do is ask for help. The amount of people in your restaurant right now that actually have friends or family that know how to make an Instagram reel, that know how to make a TikTok video, just let people know you need help. You want to start doing Instagram, you want to start doing TikTok for your restaurant. Do you know anyone who can help me? You will be shocked at how many people would love to show you their skills and come to your restaurant for free or for a burger to start to do videos for you.
That's good advice. That's really good advice. How about on the optimization? One more hack, because if I want more profit, I could raise sales. But if I could raise sales 10% and just take my my expenses down 1 point, I mean that's going to help better.
For sure. So let's see, another tech tool. We talked about Ovation. I think we should talk a little bit more about Ovation because
Yeah,
I
go
believe
for it.
it's such a powerful tool. Zach Oates is the founder of Ovation. He puts on a podcast that I would highly suggest because he's building in public. He's building this tool that allows a restaurant owner the ability to immediately respond to a review. So, one of the biggest drivers of building sales is getting better reviews. One of the biggest problems that restaurant owners ask is that we don't do a good job asking for reviews. What Zach Oates has done in Ovation is that they've built the technology to integrate into your point of sale so that when somebody orders online, it asks them, how did you like your experience? 2 questions. How did you like your experience? Is there anything that we can do better?
Mm.
5 stars. If it's anything less than 5 stars, it will go as a text message to whoever you want. So we have a text message set up anytime that somebody gets a review and they're not happy, a 5-star happy, then it's going to get texted to our manager on duty. The manager on duty will respond to the text. How can we do better? But it's a way to recover that guest. If it is a 5-star review, it texts them automatically. Would you like to write a review on Facebook, Yelp, or Google? These are the 3 primary platforms. Since we implemented Ovation, we have had an unbelievable increase in the amount of 5-star reviews for our business on all those platforms.
Which drives
All of
sales.
that means, which drives more sales.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned video. I'm a keen believer in videos. Talk about your video production business and how can people use that?
So the easiest way for us to share what we do is be the show, not the commercial. The problem that most people have when they think of marketing is that they think of advertising. I need to start advertising. And my example that I share is that I have 2 small kids. I have a 6-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. And when they first started watching YouTube Kids, the first digital button that they learned how to press was skip. Why is that? Why did they learn how to hit skip? Because all humans, no one wants to be interrupted. We don't want our stories interrupted. When you think about marketing and you think about storytelling, there's never been an easier way to share your story and your truth. You can't be in business, you can't be an entrepreneur unless you're really good at convincing another human of your crazy idea. Like that's literally the definition of entrepreneurship. You can't raise any capital, you can't get a lease, you can't get a vendor to give a shit about you unless you're really good in real life at saying this is what I do. But now we don't have to ask for permission to become a media company anymore. You can become your own media company by starting a podcast, by starting a YouTube channel, by starting a TikTok channel, by doing video, audio, video, words, and images. You do not need to ask for permission. It will be terrible. In the beginning, people are going to laugh at you. They're going to make fun of you. It's going to look stupid. It's going to sound stupid, and no one's going to care.
Just start.
But I can attest. I was just at Toast Sales Kickoff, 1,300 people on stage interviewing Amanda Rang. I'm on the Toast Customer Advisory Board. I have 2 shows, literally 2 shows with Toast, restaurant influencers and family style. We do content for the best technology companies on earth. And it's all because we've just made a lot of bad videos. And now they're a lot better than they were before. But it's what we teach restaurant owners. It's what we teach business owners. It's what we teach big business. There's big business. Like we're talking about equipment companies, food distribution companies. They don't understand the stuff that you and I are talking about right now, Dan. They have marketing payrolls of millions, tens of millions of dollars that are just going down the drain.
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. No, this is great. Thank you very much. So, how do people get in touch with you? Where can they find that Candyland article I'm talking about?
Oh, easy. If you can email me, Shawn, SHAWN, at CaliBBQ.media. I will email you the article. You can connect with me on any social platform. Instagram's probably the most active, Instagram and LinkedIn, and that's at Shawn P. Walchef, SHAWN PWALCHEF. I'm weirdly available. If you tell me you heard me on Dan's show, and you make it to San Diego, please come for some barbecue. We'll make some content together
It's
on the
good
roof in
barbecue.
front
Good
of the old
barbecue.
Hickory pit. Yeah.
Yeah, the barbecue was good. And I interrupted you when you said we'll make content together because you were so quick to pull out your phone and just start making content. It's like very natural for you, which in the beginning wasn't natural for me because I wasn't thinking about it. But in hindsight, I wish I would have done it because I think the piece would have come out great. We would have talked about cool stuff and I would have started it then, not a year later. Right. So I think
Well,
you're right. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I want to have more of this with you because I know so little about what you do, and so do a lot. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm on the NRA board. I know a lot of big franchisors, big franchisees. Not one of them really understands this subject. So, I
well, I
appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Dan, and I want to give you credit too. I meet a lot of people and I tell them a lot of things. Most of them don't do anything about it, and you're doing something about it, which is a testament to who you are and the impact that you can make. Because it's never too late to start. Like you've been on Instagram, you're posting content, you've started a show, you're doing the work, and when you look back a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, like you're gonna be very happy that you started when you did.
Good. Well, thanks. All right, man. Good to see you, and I'll see you soon.
Sounds great. Appreciate you, Dan.
See ya. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Smart Franchising with FranSmart. I'm your host, Dan Rowe. If you enjoyed today's episode, this podcast is only going to get better. Please like, comment, and subscribe to hear more from the most successful franchisors and franchisees, and we'll see you next time.